Good morning, everyone. Welcome. I'm Amy McClendon, your worship associate this morning. Today, while our minister, Reverend Christine Dance, is away from our online pulpit, we are so excited to welcome Janine Gelsinger, Executive Director of Unitarian Universalist Justice, Arizona, or UUJAZ. I look forward to introducing those of you who don't know Janine to her in a moment. In this time when we are physically distant, we believe it is an act of love to worship online and to be together in this way. Welcome to UUCP's online worship service. Welcome home. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Phoenix strives to be a spiritual community for our time, focused on diverse theological perspectives, radical inclusion, and knowing that issues of justice and equity shape everything we do. With a special awareness for those who have been historically marginalized, we welcome all, of every race, class, ethnicity, immigration status, sexual orientation, gender identity, religious background, mental and physical ability and disability. We welcome your whole self, your family, into our worship as we build a community of caring, courage, and hope. Our opening words this morning are from Anais Nin. And then the day came when the risk to remain tight in a bud was more painful than the risk it took to blossom. I invite you to grab a chalice or a candle from your home as we recite our covenant and light our chalice together. Love is the doctrine of this congregation. The quest for truth is our sacrament, and service is our prayer, to dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to share our strength in fellowship. Thus do we covenant. And now I'm going to introduce our worship team. We have our music director, Benji Messer. Our Zoom operator today is Glenn Lockwood. Becca Briley is our community and technology coordinator. And our chat chaplain today is Kathleen Waldron. Our minister, Reverend Christine Dance, and our director of children's ministries, Katie Resendez, are away this morning. And I am thrilled to welcome our service leader, Janine Gelsinger. Janine is the executive director of UUJAZ with a mission of engaging Arizona UUs in justice work that lives out our values by supporting justice ministries and congregations, connecting UUs across the state, and partnering with frontline organizers to change public policy in the state of Arizona. In her sermon today, she's joined by video by UUJAZ's partners Maxima Guerrera, Lara Ilardo, Eddie Chavez Calderon, and Ileana Mirari. We extend our warmest welcome and gratitude to Janine and her partners. And our chat is open this morning, so you can chat with everyone or just our panelists. Our service is automatically captioned, so if you're joining us on a phone or a tablet, you should already be seeing those captions. If you're on a computer and would like to see them, please click the live transcript button at the bottom of your screen and then choose Show Subtitle. And as always, we invite you to check into UUCP on social media with the hashtag UUAnywhere. And now for a few announcements about the life of our community. All of our announcements can be found on our online newsletter, Compass, and you can sign up for Compass on our website, which is phoenixuu.org. We also invite you to write a love letter to the Earth for our Earth Day service next Sunday. This could be about anything you love about our Earth or about nature, from the hummingbirds in your backyard to the mountains you see on your hikes or your drives around town, whatever you wish. Please send an email with your love letter or a video of you reading it to submit@phoenixuu.org, and we're asking for those by tomorrow. And finally, we are collecting our offering virtually, just like our service. This week with Janine here, representing the Unitarian Universalist Justice Arizona. It's a very special Share the Plate week with UUJAZ as our recipient. So UUJAZ is an incredible organization, as I mentioned at the beginning, doing a lot of work to engage UUs here in the Valley and across the state in making justice. from supporting our congregations, empowering us to engage in policy advocacy, and deep partnerships with justice organizations in our community. For example, like many of you, I've been recently taking part in a series of phone banks that were organized by UUJAZ in partnership with Poder in Action and White People Against White Supremacy. These phone banks are ongoing and have been an opportunity for me to talk with my white neighbors about police violence. I found them to be incredibly well organized and very informative for both the volunteers and the neighbors with whom we're connecting. In addition to giving generously this morning to support UUJAZ's mission, I highly encourage you to engage with this and other opportunities made available through UUJAZ's deep community partnerships. There's more information on upcoming phone banking sessions in Compass. I'm also thrilled to share this morning that all donations made to UUJAZ during our service will be matched dollar for dollar. So I'll say that again, they will be matched dollar for dollar to support the Undocumented Workers Relief Fund. By supporting UUJAZ, we are also supporting families who have struggled this past year during the pandemic without the benefit of stimulus checks or other aid. Your contribution today will go twice as far, and we ask you to be generous in giving to support the missions of UUJAZ and the Undocumented Workers Relief Fund. You can text UUCP to 73256. You can donate through the website, and you'll see as you do so that there's an option in the drop-down menu to select Share the Plate, or you can send in an old-fashioned check. For all that you give to our congregation, to our community, and in the pursuit of justice, we are so very grateful.
Good morning, everyone. The Mexican folk song De Colores sings of colorful fields of flowers and of people of many colors coming together. There are lots of verses. We'll just do two. We'll do each of them first in a loose English translation and then in the original Spanish. Feel free to sing along. Lyrics will be in the chat, and if you don't know the song, there's a repeating refrain at the end of each chorus that you can catch. Here we go. All the colors, yes, the colors we see in the springtime with all of its flowers. All the colors, when the sunlight shines out through a rift in the cloud and it showers. All the colors, as a rainbow appears when a storm cloud is touched by the sun. All the colors abound for the whole world around and for everyone under the sun. All the colors abound for the whole world around and for everyone under the sun. All right, ready for the Spanish? Here we go. De colores se visten los campos en la primavera. De colores son los pajaritos que vienen de afuera. De colores es al arco iris que vemos lucir. Y por eso los grandes amores de muchos colores me gustan a mí. Y por eso los grandes amores de muchos colores me gustan a mí. I want to get a pick, hold on. There we go. All the colors, yes, the black and the white and the red and the brown and the yellow. All the colors of people who smile and shake hands and say hello. All the colors, yes, the colors of people who know that their freedom is won. All the colors abound for the whole world around and for everyone under the sun. All the colors abound for the whole world around and for everyone under the sun. Here's the Spanish of that. De colores, y de blanco y negro y rojo y azul y castaño. Son colores de gente que ríe y estrecha la mano. Son colores de gente que sabe de la libertad. Y por eso los grandes amores de muchos colores me gustan a mí. Y por eso los grandes amores de muchos colores me gustan a mí. Thanks all.
Hello, friends. I am not Katie. Unfortunately, our friend Katie is out sick today. That happens, right? She's gonna be okay. But in the meantime, I wanted to bring a story to read. And it's called And Then It's Spring.
And Then It's Spring, written by Julie Fogliano, illustrated by Aaron E. Stead. First, you have brown. All around, you have brown. Then there are seeds. And a wish for rain. And then it rains. And it is still brown, but a hopeful, very possible sort of brown. And is that a little green? No, it's just brown, sort of brown. Then it is a week. And you worry about those little seeds. And if maybe it was the birds. Or maybe it was the bears and all that stomping, because bears can't read signs that say things like, "Please don't stomp here. There are seeds and they are trying." And then it is one more week. And the brown, still brown, has a greenish hum that you can only hear if you put your ear to the ground and close your eyes. And then it is one more week. And a sunny day. That sunny day that happens right after that rainy day. And you walk outside to check on all that brown. But the brown isn't around, and now you have green. All around you have green.
Katie and I want you all to remember that you are powerful and you are very, very loved.
Thanks, Janine. So good to have you with us. I want to share, here's a song of resilience by permission from the YouTube channel of a wonderful musician in Phoenix's immigrant community who goes by Debs Uncoded. So, enjoy.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel, Debs Uncoded. Today, I wanted to cover a song that I'm really excited to share with you all. It just reminds us to keep in mind what are the things that help us rise above the obstacles that we have in our path. And many of us have struggled in order to get to the point that we are here today. But know that that also is the reason why you are the beautiful soul that you are now. And so I hope this song brings you light as you listen to it, and hopefully that it helps you rise. I'm not the once upon a time, no, I tell a different story. Not the same glitter in my eyes like the fairy tales they told me. I had to see some things that I wish the world didn't show me, but it made me who I am, and the rest is her story. I've been lifted, I've been let down, I've been chewed up and spit out and shut down. I've been braced, then erased, a million no's had me testing my faith. But still I rise every morning, no, I can't be broken. Still I rise, I rise, I rise, I rise, I rise, I rise. The heart of a fighter, don't let this pretty face mislead you. I learned early on that people will mistreat you, but love runs through my veins, I'll never do what they do. They try to bring me down, I found a way to shine. I've been let down, I've been chewed up and spit out and shut down. I've been praised and erased, a million no's had me testing my faith. But still I rise every morning. No, I can't be broken. Still I rise, I rise, I rise, I rise, I rise, I rise. Still I rise, I rise, I rise. Still I rise, still I'll rise.
It is the time that we share our joys and sorrows with our community. Being together, it is good to share, to support each other, to connect, and to rise. Please write any joys or sorrows or what you want our community to know about in the chat. Please remember to put your name at the beginning so I can share who it's from. If you want it to be private and only to me and the panelists, not to be shared, please put the word private at the beginning and send it to panelists and know that we'll be holding you in our hearts. While you begin to enter your joys and sorrows in the chat, let me mention a little bit about what's going on in our world. For followers of Islam, this week marks the beginning of the most holy month of Ramadan. Muslims all over the world celebrate this sacred time when Allah gave the first chapters of the Quran to the Prophet Muhammad. May this month bring self-reflection and spiritual growth, as well as joyous celebration. And now we turn to the joys and sorrows of our community. I'll give you all a moment to enter those into the chat. Amy Miskell shares a joy. My son Daniel got the Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine this week. Yes, we continue to celebrate each one of those vaccines. Sam Kirkland and Michelle Morgan wish a happy birthday to Sam's sister, Carmelita, and his father, Sam, and his brother, Shannon. Jenny Jones shares a joy that John and I have joined the rank of the fully vaccinated. Similarly, Heidi Singer says, I got my second Pfizer shot this week, all done. Lots to celebrate with those full vaccines and all those birthdays going on. Gary Azell shares the joy that he is off to Chicago to see grandchildren next Friday. That's wonderful. Donna Featherston shares, grateful to have Janine in our pulpit today. I know so many of us share that joy. Dan Hun shares, I got my second Pfizer shot, 10 days until I have my COVID shield. I love all these ways that we talk about the protection, the COVID shield. Janine Gelsinger shares the joy, I got to hug my parents today for the first time in a year. Oh, that's so wonderful, Jean. I'm looking forward to doing that soon too. Laurel Harden shares, we went downtown yesterday to see some arts. We saw a truckload of people with 3 flags, American, state, and Biden. Debbie and Gabby share that Penny, our happy extroverted Yorkie, passed away last weekend unexpectedly. We miss her. We'll hold you in our hearts, Debbie and Gabby. And Brad Chapman shares, so grateful for those who have reached out with help and support after being hospitalized this week and having emergency surgery for a bad abscess infection from having a wisdom tooth pulled. Ooh, struggling with post-surgery complications, but stable and home. Thanks again. Brad, we're so happy to hear that you're home and you've got the support of our community as you heal. And Victoria Myers shares, grateful to be spending time with my mom. She loved the De Colores song before she fell back asleep. Beautiful. Wonderful music today in today's service. So we know that there are many joys and sorrows that we're holding in our hearts as well. And as we hold on to all that's been shared and all that remains in our hearts, I invite you to a time of meditation and prayer. Center yourself however that feels best for you. Might mean putting your feet on the floor as you get settled in. And I invite you to take a few deep breaths. Our meditation this morning is from Reverend Susan McGinn. Let us do the unthinkable thing. We'll sit and breathe together on the edge of our seats in a world that pollinates and reproduces, shape-shifting and breaking into bloom. Let us sit and breathe together as one breath. Sit still just long enough for each of our dreams to rise and silently hover above us. Dreams mingling like old transcendent friends, floating, finally free and light. Each of our dreams stripping away fear like unnecessary winter layers that obey gravity all the way to the ground, far too heavy for the likes of us, we, the living, on this Sunday. Amen. Blessed be, and Ashe.
One seed is all it takes to grow a forest. One candle can light a dark room. One voice is enough, speaking words of love. Each moment becomes what we choose. Do you want a new world? A world that works for everyone? Open your heart and let it be. We can become the new world. Mother Earth beneath the sky. She's waiting for you and for me. Our dreams light the path for us to walk on. Our songs help our spirits align. And each little child helps remind us why we not only might, we must thrive. Do you want a new world? A world that works for everyone? Open your life and let it be. We can become the new world. Mother Earth beneath the sky. She's waiting for you and for me to be a new world. With just this thought, it has begun. Now don't you wanna see a new world? Your Mother Earth beneath the great sky, counting on you and me to be a new world. To be the new world.
Our reading today is called Finding Our Dreams. And it's from this book by my dear, dear friend, the Reverend Teresa Soto. And they start with a quote from Georgia O'Keeffe. "We haven't found enough dreams. We haven't dreamed enough." The world makes many demands on your time, your skin, your heart, until you are left gasping and wondering if you will ever do enough, have enough, be enough. Stop your counting, your measuring, your checking. You are enough. So much more than enough. You are made from fragments of the galaxy. You do measure up. And to recover from the doubt pressed upon you, the antidote for doubt is dreaming. All of the dreams that call to you, lime green and frosting pink dreams. The other soft and tender dreams that run blue to gray, sky indistinguishable from lulling sea. For the dreams that seem impossible, listen, that's their nature. If they had already happened, then they would be realities, solid and smooth, like the round bone home of an unbroken egg. Be brave enough to name your dream, nurture it, and allow the rhythm of your breath to bring your dreams to life. May it be so.
Change is coming. What do we need to imagine? Change is coming. What do we need to imagine? 'Cause I know from brokenness there's hope. I know from brokenness there's hope. Change is coming. What do we need to imagine? Change is coming. What do we need to imagine? To be prepared. I know I'm scared. To be prepared. I know I'm scared. And I know from brokenness there's hope. I know from brokenness there's hope. Change is coming. What do we need to imagine? To be change is coming. What do we need to imagine? 'Cause I know from brokenness there's hope. I know yes, from brokenness there's hope. And I know change is coming. What do we need to imagine? Change is coming. What do we need to imagine? Change is coming. What do we need to imagine? Change is coming. What do we need to imagine? 'Cause I know from brokenness there's hope. I know from brokenness there's hope. Change is coming. What do we need to imagine? Change is coming. What do we need to imagine? 'Cause I know change is coming. I know from brokenness there's hope. gone.
I know
What do we need to imagine?
Hello, everyone. I'm so excited to be here with you today at UUCP virtually. Thank you for having me and inviting me. And you know, I have to say, spring is my favorite season. I love the flowers blooming. Hopefully they don't mess with my allergies too much. I love when the temperature starts to get warm, but not too hot. And growing up as a Phoenician, spring for me started in March, right? That's kind of around where it starts to feel like spring here. March is the month of spring break. It's my birthday month. And so March is typically my favorite month of the year, except maybe March of 2020. That was a little bit different. But that means that this spring is even more special, right? This spring is even more exciting, and I bet you can guess why. We've all been through a long COVID winter. And spring brings with it the promise of change. Vaccines are on the horizon. I just had my second shot on Friday, and many of you are getting yours too. Some of you are already done. And as we think about leaving our COVID winter behind, there's so many spring analogies, right? When we think about the Easter story from last week of rolling away the stone from the entrance to the tomb and emerging after those dark 3 days, what kind of world will we see? As we come out of this long period of social distancing, what has changed? Has anything changed? We can consider the pagan tradition of Ostara, a celebration of new life and rebirth. What will be born anew? In a post-COVID world, what can a rebirthed society look like? What can we make happen together? Now, some of us might engage in a ritual of spring cleaning, of deciding, do items in our life still bring us joy? And what if, besides just clearing out old clothes and kitchen gadgets, what if we looked at our community and our society and said, does this still bring us joy? What would we get rid of? We know that there are so many systemic inequalities here for us in the US, in Arizona, in Phoenix. They were here before, and under COVID, they got worse. Now for me, over the last year, I was able to keep working from home. I could isolate myself and my family and mostly had what I needed. But we know that for so many of us, that wasn't the case. So many essential workers, they couldn't leave their jobs, or maybe they lost their jobs. There were so many kids who didn't have a choice but to be in school, and so many folks struggling, while community members, family members, and friends around them were sick or dying. So when we think about what changes will happen this spring, as we leave behind our period of social distancing and our experience of this COVID winter, what can we do to dream together of a new future? Our Together Time story today asked us to imagine the seeds we're planting now. How will you contribute to our collective garden? What labor are you willing to put in, and how will you do that so that we can awake to a different world? The hymn we just heard from our friends at UU Ann Arbor asked us, change is coming. What do we need to imagine? Now, to answer that question, we have with us today 4 dreamers. First, we'll hear from Maxima Guerrero. Max is a community partner who was arrested this summer during the uprisings as she was protesting police violence and the killings of George Floyd and Deion Johnson. Now, she was there as a legal observer, and when the police broke up the protest, she was getting in her car to leave. She was dragged out of her car by the police and arrested. Even though she had done nothing wrong, and because she was a DACA recipient, once she was in police custody, there was imminent danger of her deportation. But her community responded. So many people called, emailed, took to social media, and gathered and made noise at the 4th Avenue jail, demanding Maxima's release, including some UUs. And by the power of community, she was freed. Now, she organizes at the state legislature against a bill that would criminalize others for exercising their right to protest. Next, you'll hear from Laura Ilardo. Laura runs Keep Phoenix Together, which is a group that holds free DACA legal clinics. DACA stands for Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, and it's a government program that allows folks who migrated to the US as children to escape deportation. It requires a lot of paperwork and documentation. Could you show someone every address you've lived at for the last 15 years? It also requires an annual $495 renewal fee. Now, as you may already know, UUJAZ supports these clinics with staffing, supplies, scholarship funds, and volunteers. Many of these volunteers are UUs just like you. Now, after Laura, you'll meet Eddie Chavez Calderon. Eddie is an organizer with Arizona Jews for Justice and a DACA recipient himself. J4J has been organizing in-person protests, so if you're fully vaxxed and the seed that you want to plant is to show up outside ICE or detention center, then our friend Eddie is tending that garden. Finally, we'll have Ileana Marari join us. Some of you may remember Ileana from UUCP when she attended with her late partner, Celso, several years ago. She organizes with Aliento, creating art and community and power with other documented and undocumented folks. As we listen to the dreams our partners have for the future, let us reflect on the powerful ways that these folks from communities that have been hit hardest by COVID, they are the most marginalized by our society. They are claiming their leadership. We'll cover today, here and in the chat, so many ways to get engaged in building out our post-COVID world. From donations to the Undocumented Workers Relief Fund that we're matching today, to contacting your legislatures, from protesting in person or in your car, to volunteering at the DACA clinic, to phone banking with your neighbors like Amy. Let us reflect today on what our individual role, our responsibility is. And in this spring season of renewal, let's follow these dreamers' leads and make our dreams for the future real.
Hey everyone, thank you for having me here today. My name is Maxima Guerrero. I am a longtime community organizer here in Tohono O'odham territory, so-called Phoenix. And for the past 10 years, I've been able to engage in different campaigns. And what led me to join this movement was really my immigration status. And being undocumented, and especially in 2010 during SB 1070, having multiple laws that were anti-migrant and really wanted to create attrition through enforcement. Through this work, I've been able to advocate towards a pathway to citizenship, advocate towards removing police officers out of school campuses due to the overcriminalization of Black and brown youth. I worked in the special recall election of Russell Pierce and 2 campaigns to get Joe Arpaio out of office. And even though these 2 campaigns and all of this work was successful in removing these people from office, we still see their political culture engraved in the sheriff's office and at the state legislature. 2020, without a doubt, was rough for many of us. And in the midst of a global pandemic, we continue to witness the murder of Black lives. From an 8-minute and 46-second video and the murder of George Floyd to the murder of Deon Johnson by a DPS officer here in the state of Arizona. Many of us didn't have the option to seek comfort or safety and refuge in our homes, but instead were pushed to and forced to take action and demand police accountability and solidarity with Black lives. In late May of last year, I myself experienced an overuse of police power, and due to being a DACA recipient, was at the risk of deportation. And had it not been for my community for showing up for me, advocating for my release, advocating for ICE to not place me at a detention center, is the reason that I'm able to be here today. This experience allows me to realize and connect the fact that the Arizona State Legislature right now is trying to introduce bills in direct retaliation towards the uprising that happened at the end of last year. There's a lot of bills, and in particular HB 2309, which aims to criminalize protesting, and HB 2295, which aims to allow mandatory have active police officers in oversight committees. And we have seen in the local and national media, especially recently, in the news of political prosecutions, that police cannot and should not be investigated themselves. In a world post-COVID and towards liberation, we are truly able to engage with each other instead of engaging with police. And we are no longer hearing stories of officer-involved shootings, mass shootings, and envisioning a community where mutual aid is common, where joy is common, and where we are truly able to help, support, and provide for each other. In a world post-COVID, it is not the systems of white supremacy and anti-Blackness that continue to be in existence, but rather it is a world where all of our basic human rights are met, and in a world where we are able to take care of each other. So I invite you today to take action, to join in this legislative fight, to fight against these systems with us, to use your privilege that a lot of us may not have, to take action, to call out these systems in your homes, to call out these systems at the state legislature, and to continue to work with us in a pathway towards liberation and justice. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Laura Ilardo. I am the coordinator for the Keep Phoenix Together DACA Clinic. The DACA Clinic reopened in January of this year after 3 years of having it be closed to anybody who has not applied for DACA before. In the previous administration, it closed the door to many folks who would have been eligible for DACA. And with this new administration, we had reopening of DACA. So the clinics have reopened as of January, and I'm the coordinator for the DACA clinic here in Phoenix, the Keep Phoenix Together clinic. So the first question is, in my work with Keep Phoenix Together over the last year, I have seen 2 things. One is a sense of hopelessness turned into hopefulness. The first year, all of 2020, individuals were not eligible for DACA for the first time. And so there was a sense of hopelessness over the last few years of not being able to have an opportunity as others. And so there was a sense of just utter hopelessness. And in January, as the DACA was renewed and reopened, it turned into the sense of hopefulness, where now people feel as though they can have a level playing field and are able to take advantage of the DACA program, and have been applying and have been super excited about their future in a time last year where they were not able to. And the other thing that I have noticed in the past year is really a coming together of community and individuals for a common good. When DACA reopened, when the Keep Phoenix Together Clinic reopened, just seeing energized volunteers, energized people in the community saying, I don't know, how to do this, but please train me. I want to help. This is something I can do. And really seeing all these groups come together to really push the DACA clinic forward. And that has been super hopeful and nice to see in this past year, especially with COVID being so difficult. And then the second question, my dream for Arizona in a post-COVID world is, and the best way to answer it is through the voice of one of our clients that received a scholarship at the DACA clinic last month. She filled out an application that included her narrative of why why she needed the scholarship and what was going on in her life. And she gave permission to share this narration. This really sums up what I would see my dream for a post-COVID. So she writes, being undocumented, I have faced many challenges, especially when it comes to being a teenager and a student. As a teenager, I don't get to do the same things as my peers do, such as getting a driver's license or even attempting to learn how to drive, in fear that I will come in contact with a police officer. I don't get the chance to get my first job and help my family with the bills, or spend money on teenager things like concerts, school dances, and amusement parks. Even with the idea of starting my own business, I wouldn't have the finances to even begin. Being an undocumented teenager makes me feel like the odd one out, especially when your friends and family forget that you can't do the same things as them. It really takes a toll on my mental health. As for being a student, I don't get the chance to go to the dream school because I don't qualify for government financial aid and student loans. While I am receiving a good education, I know I am not where I can be and do my absolute best. Aside from the challenges I receive from being an undocumented immigrant, I face many other challenges, especially with my mental health. So my dream for Arizona in a post-COVID world is that people like this client are able to have a level playing field and are able to do the things that their peers and their family and their community around them are able to do, and that they are seen as equals in the society and afforded the same ability and privileges that we all are. So that's my dream. I also dream that our volunteers in our community will continue to come together when needed, and that we will continue to stand up and work alongside our immigrant neighbors, immigrant brothers and sisters when we see injustice, and to fight and to continue fighting. Thank you all so much. And if you'd like to volunteer, simply email me and I will send you a link with a training manual and a link on how to sign up for one of our volunteer shifts. We look forward to seeing you. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Eddie Chavez Calderon, and I am the campaign director at Arizona Jews for Justice. Over these past years, I've had the enormous opportunity to be able to help over 40,000 asylum seekers. As numbers have slowly been decreasing, we've also seen an increase lately. And we are so proud to be able to provide logistical support for folks who need the most help right now. It's a huge honor and a huge privilege as a DACA recipient to be able to give back to my community, to be able to help those who desperately need it. Unfortunately, COVID has changed a lot of that. This is why we have adapted to wearing masks, to making sure that we are as cleanliness as possible, to making sure that everybody is as safe and healthy as possible. What I envision is a time where we adapt to what this pandemic did into what our future looks like. Not erasing, but adapting and creating a new tomorrow, where we have presentations on Zoom and in person so that everybody has access. A pandemic shouldn't stop our support it should only fuel us to adapt to a better tomorrow.
Hello everyone, my name is Ileana Merari. I've been part of Aliento since 2016. This song was created with the words and the thoughts and the ideas from Aliento's participants during the April Arts and Healing Workshop. It was titled In Harmony. And so the participants at that time were invited to share ideas and also feelings about what they were going through as the pandemic started. And also as we were expecting the Supreme Court decision around DACA. And so there was a lot of uncertainty, but also a big feeling of resiliency and unity. And so I put this song together with all of the words, and as I was a participant of that workshop as well, the feelings that were expressed. And so I hope that you like it.
Rosa
Thank you so much, Janine. And to your partners, Maxima, Laura, Eddie, and Eliana, what just a beautiful, beautiful way to spend a Sunday with inspiration and also a call to action. Thank you so much. As we come to the end of our time together, we'd like to invite everyone to join us for coffee hour after the service. We'll start in a large group and then break off into smaller groups. We'll have a room to connect with Janine. I'm sure she would love for you to stop by and say hello, and a chance for you to talk with her more about what we heard in our service today. We'll also have a room for children, a room or two for social time, and we are continuing our chats with the board. So there'll be a room to chat with members of the board around the 8th principle. The room will be posted in the chat and will also be on the final slide. Visitors, we hope you'll join us. We are a friendly bunch. This is a reminder also to please check in on each other this week. Go in peace, go in love, go in the pursuit of justice.